Hello, beautiful moms and entrepreneurs. My name is Charisse Walker, and I'm your host of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. This is a place where we come together to learn, grow, and inspire. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Hello, Unbreakable Mompreneurs. My name is Charisse Walker, your host, and we are going to talk about systems and strategies today. And I know it's like one of those things, it can feel overwhelming. You don't know where to start. So that's why we're going to talk about it. So Kim Vargo is in our studio today. And without further ado, Kim, why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Sure. Hi, Charisse. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Kim Vargo. I am the founder of Kim Vargo Co. Very original name. I'm a Systems and Operations Strategist. I work mainly with creatives and wedding industry professionals, helping them streamline their systems and free up time to focus on what they enjoy doing.
I love that. And before we were talking, you had mentioned your niche. So we talked a lot on the show about if you're a business starting out, you need to niche down. And so what I
Yes.
love is that you can help multiple people, and you do. So I don't want to exclude people that are listening, but your niche is in the wedding industry.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to niche down like that?
So the wedding industry niche fell into my lap. I started out as a virtual assistant
Mhm.
and started doing Dubsado setups and really enjoyed the systems aspect. One of my VA clients was, or still, I still work with her. She does signage and stationery for weddings. And I did a lot of her systems work and really enjoyed it. And she recommended me to some of her friends, and it kind of just snowballed. And now I've worked with photographers, videographers, florists, planners, kind of everything under that umbrella. And it's just been like, it's been so fun for me. I love working with them, and like it's so funny. All of them are like, you're always going to have a job because we are so all over the place, and they know that about themselves. So it kind of just fell into my lap, but it's been such a happy thing for me.
I love that. My daughter actually is a photographer and videographer. So like
Oh, cool.
because I know that she can get a little chaotic sometimes. And it's hard because
Yeah.
it's, I don't think people realize when you show up to the shoot, yeah, you can take pictures and it doesn't take very long. It's the editing and everything after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that, what do you do to help people with their systems and strategies?
A lot of what I do is CRM setups. Most of my clients come to me and they're doing things in like 12 different places that could be done in a CRM, like invoicing, sending proposals, contracts, emailing, sending forms, questionnaires, all that. They're using a different scheduler, it's just, they have like so many different things that they've hodgepodge together
Mhm.
and with zero automation in place. So I generally start with a CRM for the people that are feeling so all over the place. And then also with like a task manager is often kind of the second place I'll have them go because they kind of go hand in hand. Your CRM is helping you with your client communications and all that, but you also have the things that you're doing on the back end that your clients don't care about, but you should still have a process for. So, kind of those two are where I start with my clients.
And I think that any industry, so again, we're not going to touch a wedding today because
Yeah.
I even think like for my podcast, right? So we go through Podmatch is who we use. And so people come, they ask to be on the show, or I ask them to be on the show, however, and then they schedule the calendar link. And so it takes them to my calendar link. And then it could be 3 months in the future. So here we are 3 months later. And if there's no reminders, sometimes I show up and they're not there. Right. And
Yeah.
so because it's been so long, and so either like the reminder emails or different things like that. And so then what you do, because I've had so many people on my show and you have their email now, so that should be going into a CRM. It shouldn't just be sitting there. And so I think a
Hmm.
lot of people aren't aware. You're right. Everything you do should have a system. It should have a strategy. There should be a
Yeah.
purpose because otherwise you're spinning your wheels.
Yes. And connecting those things too.
Yeah. I remember when I first started out. Well, I hired this coach and she'd been in the business for like 20 years, right? So she'd been using all these different system strategies. And quite frankly, some of the stuff she didn't even know she still had like subscriptions to, right? So
Yeah.
she's telling us to do all this and I'm like eating it all up. So I do exactly what she says. And before I know it, I'm spending like $1,500 on all these different platforms and systems. And then she's like, oh, I don't use that one anymore.
Okay, cool.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I think that I love what you do, where you said that you just connect everything into one thing. And what's
Yeah.
that place that you call it?
Dubsado?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Dubsado is the CRM that I use. And like I think some people think like there is one thing that can solve everything. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. Like the CRM versus the task manager that I was mentioning, like those are separate, but you can link them up with like Zapier, for example, or Zapier. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. But like, for example, when someone inquires with me, they're added into my CRM, but they're also their email is added to my flow desk with a Zap through Zapier. Like it's those little connection pieces that I don't need to think about that are really helpful. And like a folder's made in my Google Drive for my clients once they sign. Like it's those little pieces that add up time-wise.
And it's so nice when you hire somebody like you to do that and specialize
Yeah.
in that because like you do it all day, every day, where somebody like me is like, and you can do it in what I'm giving an excuse, but like 15, 30 minutes or an hour. It would take somebody like me a longer time. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not beneficial. So do you maintain it for people too, or is it the setup?
So I think it depends on the client and what they need. A lot of my clients, I just do a setup and then I offboard them and hopefully I give them like a kit essentially to make sure they have the tools to actually use the tool, as dumb as that sounds. And I provide offboarding support and whatever. But ideally, if I do a good job, then they won't really need me anymore. But then there are some people that are just too busy to even do the few manual things that are still in their system, because there are some things that do require a human at the end of the day. And some people need someone who just knows their business really well and can make decisions for them. And I do that as well. So I do have a few like retainer clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you get into this?
It's a good question. So I was a teacher for almost 10 years, according to the state of New Hampshire, not a full 10 because I took an extended maternity leave with my twins. So I'm a little upset about that, but that's okay. So yeah, my twins are 3 now, and I think it was probably right around when COVID hit that I kind of hit a wall with teaching. I was a high school math teacher, and I think just the state of education and a lot of factors like within the school and not just had me deciding that my heart just wasn't in it anymore. For a while was looking for a way out and was like, at home Googling like what can I do? Like I was, you get so pigeonholed. I think teachers think that all they can do is teach. And that's obviously not true. We have the tools that we have can be applied to so many other things. And what kept coming up was virtual assistant, virtual assistant. So that was kind of where I started. I did like a online course from someone. I think there's many out there.
Yes, on my podcast. There's
Oh yeah.
going.
Yeah, I actually saw that a couple episodes ago, I think. So I started out as a VA, really just be getting paid $20 an hour to do these tasks. Like I had a salary to replace, and realized I needed to find something a little more specific so I could charge more and also like enjoy more what I was doing, do a little kind of work my brain a little more. And I spoke with this woman named Lisa, who I actually tried to contact, and I don't think she's doing what she did anymore, but she did this workshop with me and kind of like looked at my zones of genius and all that stuff. And she was like, you're really good at organizing. You have that like math brain. You should look into Dubsado specifically, was the platform she told me to look at. And I was like, okay. And I did, and I loved it. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll just dive headfirst into this. And I started doing Dubsado setups on the side for people. And I met a mentor along the way who also does Dubsado setups. And she kind of helped me. Her name's Kate Potter. She's amazing. And I talk to her all the time still. And again, like snowballed into this thing. And now I offer more than just Dubsado. I have expanded into other CRMs, task managers, and just helping people with their overall business organization. So that was a little long-winded.
Interesting that it's like, okay, I'm not happy in my present career. Check. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like there's more that I could be doing. Check. Okay, well, I'm going to take a step. I'm going to talk to somebody. They're confirming it. Check. And then I'm doing this, but now I'm finding that there's more of a need. So now I'm going to add this to it. Check, And so it's
Yeah.
really like a framework for people that when you like just take a step and get started. And if you can take
Yeah.
and you can get started and then start there. And honestly, like I'd love to see in 3 years if you're still doing this or now you've expanded, you still offer that, but you've outsourced and hired people to do that.
Hmm.
You've added this component to it. And so it's fun to see. We as women business owners, I think a lot of times we forget or we get scared to take a step because we're like, oh, I don't know if this is what I should do, or I don't know if this is the right step. It's not like
Yeah.
you're stuck, like you left your,
Right.
or I know somebody that he's constantly trying new things after, but he builds up the company to 60%. He hires a C-suite, he lets that go, and he goes into the next endeavor. Like it's so fun to watch him because I've known him for about,
Yeah.
and that's what he does. And so I think that I love to hear that you took the step, you did what you needed to, and now you're growing. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was definitely like this is my first year not teaching, and it was definitely a leap that I took, but I'm glad I did.
That's really good. So let's talk about momhood because you have,
Yes.
I mean, I remember that day or 3-year-old twins. Like that's so fun. It's so
It
fun.
is fun.
Adults and they make their own decisions. You're like,
So
so
I should treasure this time, you're
yes,
saying.
sure.
Okay.
But let's talk about that because you had your twins, you left your career, steady career, and now you're in this, oh my gosh, I'm an entrepreneur. So what are you learning in the journey?
Well, I think like the biggest thing for me is my own time management is just so different now. Like I thought I was gonna have all this time, and I still don't, right? Like it's just different. Things have shifted. But I think the nicest thing is being able to like pick my kids up from school, being able to take them to dance class and music class and just hang out with them when I want to. And if they're sick, not have to worry about making sub plans. They are the priority, right? So they're a big piece of why I left teaching. So to have that flexibility and freedom has been such a sigh of relief for me. And it makes me feel like I'm able to be a better mom and more present. Like, and I have my kids are in preschool, um, full time. So I do have time during the day, obviously to work, but also like take time for myself too, to breathe, which is really nice. And I didn't have that before.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I think sometimes it's like, okay, like I can never, knock on wood, see myself going back to a 9 to 5. I can't.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean I'm not open to it. Like if someone were to come and offer me a certain salary, I'd probably be, well, what does that look like?
sure.
However, I really enjoy the same thing. Like if my kids call me from school, or if they call me and they say, "Hey, we need this," or my son, like he has a doctor's appointment today. We've been waiting for 5 weeks because this is kind of a life-changing decision. Like depending on what the doctor says, his life is going to be significantly impacted for the next 6 months. And so I'm glad that I can be home and they can deal with whatever the outcome is that we're going to
Yeah.
do. And so I think that's the part as a mom why I think entrepreneurship and why I'm trying to get women to realize you can have what you want. Plus, I make way more than I did at my 9 to 5. And it wasn't
Yeah.
9 to 5, it was much longer. Just like you as a teacher. You go to school and you teach, but now you're grading papers, now you're creating lesson plans, now you're dealing with all that stuff. So it's not a 9 to 5.
Yeah. And the mental, I mean, I think every job has a mental load, but the mental load from teaching was a lot.
Yeah. But let's talk about something I've never talked about on the show that I just thought
Oh,
about. As an entrepreneur, like you have to be self-driven, right?
yeah.
And so was that a hard transition for you? So
Yeah.
talk about that and what you've,
It was. I think like because I was so used to like, okay, we had an au pair too while I was teaching because the kids were younger and financially it just made more sense and it was wonderful. So I was like, all right, get up, get the kids ready, go to work, do the thing, come home, make dinner, go to sleep. And, there were some chores mixed in there and whatever. But now I think like since I have to make the conscious choice to sit down and do work, that's just like such a different thing. I think what makes it easier is I do actually enjoy what I'm doing. But there are still days where I have like a to-do list and I'm like, ugh, like I don't know, like you almost get like that like paralysis of like, okay, I have all these things to do. Where do I start? And then I just don't. So my procrastination still has not gone away. I've always been a procrastinator and I'm learning to not. I'm like building structures into my day. And honestly, the biggest thing for me has been going to the gym in the morning, getting that energy out or whatever. I think it helps me to say like, okay, I've done that and now I can like focus on what I need to do for my clients. And that's been really helpful. But taking that time for myself first has been important.
It's so interesting because I was training for a marathon. I remember those days every morning, 7 o'clock, I would get up faithfully and I'd go for a walk or I'd run my 30 seconds, my minute and a half. Like I only got up to 4 miles before I ran the marathon because of my body, but I did finish the marathon. My point is, I looked forward to that time and I've never felt better, which when you're running, that doesn't make you feel better, but it did. And I think that mentally and physically, when you're doing stuff, not like it's for yourself, it's not for anybody else, it's for yourself and it's for your health. I really do think that that's important and it does help us and it changes us for the
Yeah.
so that's cool that you do that.
Yeah, and that's funny. You only ran 4 miles and then ran a marathon. That's crazy.
I mean, it was 4 miles consistently. The only time I
Right.
ran 6 miles for my 10K, but then my body, like, I had almost broken both my tibias, so I was back like for 2 months. I couldn't do anything again, and my physical therapist said, "Don't train, just go do it." And I'm like, "What kind of
Okay.
advice did a physical therapist?" But
Yeah.
I tried. I honestly tried. I couldn't do it, so I skipped the half marathon. I went straight for the marathon.
You live to tell the
It was a lot of fun.
wow.
That's enough about me. What have you like if you were sitting on a park bench and this 9 month pregnant woman comes up to you and she starts talking about how she wants to start this business and this is her first baby, what advice would you give her?
Gosh, I would say just start and to try to come up with some systems that will help her. I would say to think about like try to look at a bird's eye view of what she wants it to look like, what she wants her, if she has clients, like what she wants her client journey to look like, what she wants people to feel when they're working with her, and to really think about the impact that it will have on her for taking that leap. Because I think, right, we get so scared, you were saying, and then you just don't. But it's really, but what if it works? What if it works out? And what if it changes everything for you? So take the leap, but also try to get some systems in place as well, would be my advice.
That when you say what if it works, because that's a mindset thing that we get scared. Oh, what if it is successful? What if my life isn't hard anymore? That's what I think. Like that's what
Yeah.
I realized is sometimes if I'm starting something new, I'm afraid to get started because I could be successful at this and then my life isn't hard. I don't know what it's like to not have a hard life, right? For whatever reason. And so the other thing I think also to add is that you have to flip back sometimes. But it's okay to just keep going and eventually your process will change and your mind will change. I used to be afraid of putting myself on a schedule.
Mm,
I want to be told I have to show up at this place at this time and this place at this time and this place at this time. So no, I'm not going to do anything because I don't want to have a schedule. Weird, huh?
that's funny. Yeah. I live and die by my Google Calendar.
And it changed. Like I actually do have a very structured schedule, and I actually
Yeah.
find myself enjoying it now because you
Yeah.
can expect and you can plan.
Routine is nice.
So what do you schedule first?
Like for myself, well, I need to schedule the gym first. And then I schedule my kids' stuff. Like I make sure that I their after school stuff, picking them up, like between the hours of two and kind of 2:30 and beyond, they are my priority. Yeah. And then I do have one day where they're in aftercare and I can work a little longer. I get a lot done in those afternoons. But scheduling that time for me and then making sure I try to structure my day. I also schedule in like making sure I have time to eat lunch because
Yeah.
otherwise you end up with too many meetings and then you're like, oh, I guess I'm gonna shove this protein bar in my mouth and that's not good. So those little things for myself and then I schedule in my work. So it's less of a priority, but it's obviously important.
And
You know what I'm saying?
so let me, not less of a priority. Your kids are important. Brian Buffini, he's one of my mentors that I've loved for years. And he talks about when you're scheduling out for 3 months, you schedule your family stuff first, schedule a vacation, whether that's vacation or a vacation, but go do something every quarter. I don't know if he said
Yeah.
that, but that's my advice. So schedule something into that quarter and like a object lesson where you put the big rocks in this vase and you put like the next medium size and the small.
Then then the
Yeah,
sand.
your big rocks are your family. Like that makes sense. That's yourself. It's your physical. I think that those things are so important. And then like the little stuff is not like, of course, your work, but those are your medium, those are your smaller. And then
Yeah. I
other.
love that analogy. You said it much more eloquently than I.
Thank you, because I don't think I ever do. So,
Oh no. Well, that was good. Good job.
all right. So besides hiring you, what is something for someone who is ready to get started with, okay, I do need some systems. What is their first step? Because their second is to call you. I know that, but what would be their?
Yeah. Okay. I would say do a big brain dump of what your ideal processes would look like. If that's not too overwhelming, because some people are like, I just don't know.
Yeah.
But what is like your dream experience for your clients? Or what is your dream process? Kind of doing like a wish list of what things could look like potentially. And then trying to see what you could do yourself. But then, yeah, talking to somebody who can really help you. And then not to toot my own horn, but someone who does systems is going to think of things that you never thought of, and that will be like life-changing for your business time-wise. So don't be afraid to outsource even before you feel it's necessary, because I think some people wait too long and then they end up super overwhelmed in their business and needing it immediately. You're better to obviously plan ahead.
Well, what if someone told me I have a system set up,
Yeah.
but I might not be utilizing them as much as I should? So I have this like the system and like some things have changed. So what I was using might need to be tweaked a little. Do you help people in the system that they're using if they train you on how to do it or whatever? Or do you help people with their system?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I can do a audit of where you're at and figure out like where you're finding bottlenecks, where you're or roadblocks, and how we can make adjustments or tweaks within your current system to move forward.
Love that. Well, Amy, it's been a delight. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, it was really nice to meet you, Charisse. Thank you so much.
Yes. And if our listeners wanted to hire you, how would they contact you?
So you can follow me on Instagram at kimvargo.co, or you can go to my website, which is kimvargo.com, or kimvargo.co will also take you there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And is there anything I should have asked that you wish I would have?
I think just like if your business feels heavy, it's not a failure on your part. It just means that there's probably something systematically that needs to be tweaked and that it can be fixed. So everything in the sense of systems is figure outable. If you're feeling stuck, there's probably some systematic things you can change that would really make a significant difference for you.
And I normally end with some advice, and that is fantastic advice. So,
Okay, there we go.
because moms, I really do. Having a business is fantastic so that you can be a mom, but you can be a mom more if you have the systems and strategies set up. So take the time. And if you don't know what you're doing or you need some advice, then reach out to Kim because she does it all day, every day. She's the expert, she's the specialist. And sometimes it's great to outsource to people so that you don't have to worry about that. You can spend more time with your kids while she's taking care of that. So go out and make it a great day.
All right.
Beautiful moms, remember, you are unbreakable. Keep illuminating the world with your strength, pursuing your dreams, and reveling in the splendor of motherhood. This is Charisse Walker, bidding you farewell for now. Stay tuned for more empowering conversations on the next episode of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. Until then, keep shining bright. Signing off with love, Charisse Walker.